Actually, I was playing the Falcon Lake Festival last year with Glenn McCabe, and I got back here and I thought, we got this great park here, and it's not being used. I wonder if we could throw something like that together here. So I went over to Ferg's place, who's just 2 cabins down, and he happens to be the worldwide Molson rep. And I suggested that we try and throw something on it. So he got behind it, and some of the O'Flaherty's got behind it too. And we organized the festival in about 3 weeks. And of course, you were down, and we sort of pulled it off. And this year, it's turned into something else. If you take a look now, take a look back there. It's a stage has appeared, and a sound system with a relative behind the sound system. And no, it's turning out good. And we've added a local component to the show. We've got about 5 local acts playing, and plus we've got the old component, being Donnie and myself, and Glenn McCabe and Bill Hamilton, and also Patty Brett from town here, who's like a local standard. We were looking for something to give the money to, if there was going to be any, and Ferg tied in with these guys. So they've jumped on the fundraising end of it, and they've got it's turning into a little fair. You know, they're setting up booths and stuff like that. So it's sort of neat. You know, it'll be like a mini Winnipeg Folk Festival, but really small.
Well, Bill actually just phoned me and said, we're doing this fundraiser out in Kenora, and would you like to come out and play? And I said, absolutely. Like, any time to work with Bill anyway, it's always been great, you know, when we were doing the Guess Who stuff together, and just over the years we've always enjoyed playing together. So this was going to be a lot of fun, and it has been. I'm glad I could make it.
Yeah, we ran each song over once.
Yeah, that was in the entire show and the rehearsal. I mean, and Bill always manages to pick up really good guitar players and great drummers and stuff. So the guys that are backing up the songs this year are real pros, and it's just a pleasure to play with them.
It's a reduced version of a show that we'd done probably in the earlier 70s. It's a bus rider running back to Saskatoon. No Sugar Tonight.
Follow Your Daughter Home, No Time, No Sugar. Did you say that one?
Didn't you say No Sugar?
No.
No Sugar?
No Sugar.
Okay, No Sugar.
And Clap for the Wolfman.
Clap for the Wolfman, and
Hand Me Down, and great tunes. Stuff your dad wrote and stuff, you know, over the years, and the band recorded, and stuff that Burton and Randy had written over the years, and so they're still fun to play. You know, they're great songs. They were well written, and we do them really well.
And this new batch of musicians has really taken them seriously and done all their homework. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have to stop the band and yell at anybody to learn their parts, because they all knew them.
Yeah, it just came together just like bang. Like last night we ran through the show. We ran through them once. That was it. And it sounds just terrific.
For us,
it's easier for us.
It's automatic pilot. But
yeah.
Those guys had to do a whole bunch of woodshedding.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know that Debbie spent an awful lot of time listening to the piano parts, and Darcy Ura, the drummer, has actually written the fill-ins out in actual music, so when he gets to the fill-ins that he knows what they are and he doesn't play the wrong ones. So he's got them probably on his floor tom, and he's probably not going to play his floor tom because he's using it as a music stand. I guess my dad started a school band, and I was playing the trombone. And then I got in the Sea Cadet bands on baritone, and all the drummers in the Sea Cadet had rock bands on weekends. And so one of the drummers asked me, said, if you get a bass, I'll get you in a rock band. So I went and got a bass. And 3 weeks later, I was in a rock band. So that's how I started. I just picked it up and started playing on the open strings until I could figure out how to play without the open strings. And you know, I was playing open strings like I would play boogie runs on the open strings, and then when it came, if you had to play in C, it just went doo 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 like that. You played one note, and that's how I started. And I think I played within about a month. I played a job with the Ramrods, and Kurt was in the Ramrods. Kurt Winter was in the Ramrods, and another guy, Eric Honey. And he was one of the first drummer I probably played with, I think, yeah, was Eric Honey, and he ended up being a radio announcer at CKNW, and I think recently he passed away from cancer. But he got my start. He started me in rock and roll. So
same thing. My father had his own band, and so when growing up as kids, we used to play in his band, and then we decided we were going to start our own little group, and there used to be a little club just in St. Vital, right by the St. Vital Hotel. It was called the Twilight Zone, and it was like a coffee house kind of a thing, because nobody was playing in bars in those years. There was no such thing. It was like you played community centers, community halls like Norwood and all these different places. So that's basically how I got in, and my brother Robbie and we had a little band called the Gentry, and that's how I knew Bill, because we used to rehearse at the YMCA, and Bill would come down to see us and whatever, and we became friends back then, and it just one thing after the other. And then I moved out to the coast in '66 out to BC, and we started a band called Mother Tucker's Yellow Duck. And when that band folded, I had come back to Winnipeg for a visit, and I ran into McLean and McLean, which we were called the Vicious Circle at the time. Gordy Osmond was playing drums and I was playing guitar, and then Gary and Blair were doing this Vicious Circle thing. It was mostly all sort of folk kind of band and a little bit of kind of bluegrass and stuff and funny stuff going on. And then Greg Lescue had left the band, the Guess Who, and I was at Gary's house one day. It was actually Burton's house, but we were all over there, and Burton phoned up and said, Greg's left the band and we need a guitar player. Do you want to come down? So in about 3 days, I took off for Phoenix and joined the band, walked on stage. Kurt and I rehearsed for about 2 days in the hotel room and showed me all of Greg's parts, because I knew a lot of the songs because I grew up with them all. And the rest was history after that. We just continued on and played till like a 75 or 74, whatever it was. And then we sort of left the band and went on to other things, and then we got our reunion tour back in 2000. But what we noticed by coming back on with the tour was that there was like 4 generations. There was like grandmas there was their daughters, and their kids. Like the age group was like from 75, from 13 or 14 to 75. So I mean, it was, and everybody, which was totally amazing to us, is that they all knew the words to the songs still, and they would actually sit there and sing the songs with us. It was really, really something. One word: terrifying. It was, we had hail, there was wind. They actually had to take down the 2 big screens because the wind was so bad that
they thought the lighting towers were going to come down.
Towers were going to fall over and stuff. We actually had to take a 20-minute break while the weather cleared. But I mean, we had water dripping off of our guitars. I mean, it was
actually
insane.
But at that point,
electric guitars, in the rain, not a good
3
thing.
tunes got jettisoned from the show that night, and they never went back in.
Yeah,
and I was sort of disappointed.
Yeah.
What 3 were they? Do you remember?
One was Road Food, and I don't know what was the other one.
We did Road Food a couple of times, but not in.
Yeah, we never did it after that. It was in the show until there.
Yeah.
And it got knocked out because we had to shorten the set.
I think that we
yeah, Orly probably came out too, and some of the other ones I liked.
That we never made onto the CD.
But I know what it was. Heartbroken Bopper was nixed out. That was nixed out too, and I liked that one as well. So. To not use tab. Throw the tab away, kids. Use your ears. That's the big problem now. They're learning it from tab, and they don't know what the notes are, and they don't know what the chords are.